Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. Since the Netherlands joined the United States to curb chip exports and plan to impose new restrictions on semiconductor technology, China's chip industry has also faced unprecedented challenges. The United States has restricted the development of China's chip industry on the grounds of so-called national security. The status of the industry in the chip field is precisely because of this. The spokesperson of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs has repeatedly stated that the United States is using improper means to interfere in the normal trade between the Netherlands and China. He also made representations to the Dutch side and even warned the United States that China will safeguard its legitimate rights and interests. In this regard, Bill Gates also stood up and said that it is futile for the United States to restrict the development of China's chip industry. Indeed, under the pressure of the United States, the Netherlands has become a tool for the United States to frequently create trade conflicts. The United States unilaterally stated that it has reached an agreement with the Netherlands and will impose new export restrictions on China, but the Dutch government has not publicly commented on this. No comment. Nothing can be explained, because you cannot say that the attitude of the Netherlands is biased towards China. If it is biased towards China, why does the Netherlands acquiesce in the public decision of the United States? Of course, it cannot be said that the Netherlands is biased towards the United States. If it is biased towards the United States, why did the Netherlands not stand up and admit that it has reached an agreement with the United States? In fact, no matter what, although the Netherlands did not explicitly respond too much to the agreement, it can be seen from the attitude of ASML in the Netherlands that ASML said that the agreement will not affect SMIC's plan to purchase lithography machines for the time being, at least during 2023. It will not be affected in any way, that is to say, ASML does not want to lose the Chinese market, and also hopes that the agreement will never take effect. Even if it does take effect, it must find a way to provide more lithography machines to China as soon as possible, but all of this is seen by Biden in the eyes. Biden's idea is very simple. The biggest shortcoming in China's chip field is lithography equipment. As long as China is restricted from possessing advanced lithography equipment, China will not be able to develop and grow in the chip field. In this way, the United States will be able to control the initiative of the entire chip industry, and at the same time maintain a leading position in the chip field. It just so happens that the Netherlands has mastered the most advanced lithography equipment in the world. Biden believes that as long as the Netherlands is settled, then the competitors will basically be settled. I have to say that the idea of the United States is naive. Why do you say that? As the so-called things must be reversed, this is the law of heaven described by Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching. Lao Tzu believes that human beings cannot violate the law of heaven. The United States completely blocks technology and further expands the scope of chip restrictions. This is to force China to death. There is a saying in Sun Tzu's Art of War, which is called, "The poor should not be forced." If you push him to death, then he will fight back, even if it is to use the power of the whole country to break through the blockade, which means that this is not good for the United States. However, how does the United States understand the profoundness of Chinese culture? And it is precisely because of this that they continue to suppress Chinese chip companies, and they have even suffered heavy losses due to this, and they will further sanction China. However, what Biden did not expect was that China had previously launched the second phase of the chip plan. China has made it clear that it will speed up the upgrading of modern chip technology and industrial structure, and provide a better technology research and development platform for future chip development. In order to provide strong support for high-end chip production, and at the recent APEC summit, China even wanted to build a world-leading chip industry chain. As soon as this news came out, the meaning has become very clear. That is, China is not afraid of the suppression of the United States at all. Not only that, China also wants to break through the technology blockade and monopoly of the United States. Whether it is in terms of chip technology or industrial structure, whether it is for chip development or high-end chips, China must achieve global leadership and create a chip industry chain that is more advanced than the United States. To put it bluntly, it is to exclude American technology. As Bill Gates said, the United States cannot prevent China from having powerful chips, because the more the United States restricts Chinese chip companies, if there is no development, then Chinese chip companies will only devote more energy and time, and invest more funds in scientific research, so as to work harder to break through the technological blockade and monopoly of the United States. It has to be said that Bill Gates' ideas coincide with traditional Chinese culture. Isn't this in line with the natural law that things must be reversed when they are extreme, and the natural law that the poor will not be oppressed? Bill Gates said that it is futile for the United States to restrict the development of China's chip industry. The implication is that the restrictions will not only have no effect, but will make the whole situation develop in the opposite direction of the United States. If the United States is defeated, it will develop even stronger in the chip field. What do you think for this? Welcome to leave a message to discuss in the comment area.